So hello and welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne, live on the Downhill Cycling YouTube channel. It is a Veloskin training camp week. Our fantastic partners at Veloskin who support the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, and look after our members. Make sure that they are in tip-top condition. Are supporting the Chaingang once again with training camp week. Chris, of course, a regular on the Chaingang, fast man, riding that Wahoo kit, and he has got quicker and quicker and quicker on the Chaingang, and great to see him in action. We expect to see him and a number of the Veloskin ambassadors on with us. I've already seen that Georgia Mahoney of the Cycling Talk podcast, a fellow podcaster, is on the gang tonight, and going to be seeing how she gets on, along with lots of other riders. Now, the Veloskin products, of course, absolutely critical. And why is it training camp week? Well, that's really easy. We've got loads of our pros going off and racing and starting to reap the benefits of training camps. Lots of our riders from the Donny Chaingang going out and training. We've seen great pictures from everywhere, from Lanzarote, from Tenerife, from, of course, Mallorca and Calpe, the staples of the training camp fair really are the main headline places. And we thought we'd pick a couple of great routes this week that give us a real flavour of being on a training camp. So we've got out and back again. Well, what could be more appropriate for heading out and coming back from your favourite training camp venue? And we are going to be heading over to Chasing the Sun on Thursday as well. Both great routes, both real tough routes, but something to test everybody, as you'd expect, on the Chaingang. Now, Veloskin, of course, are making products specifically to go out on your training camp, and they've got the training camp packs. So when you go to the airport, you can't just take a standard size tin of Veloskin product, even though we all would want to. You have to take a sachet or similar. So there are some great travel packs. Make sure you go onto that Veloskin website. It is really simple. We have it loaded up almost permanently on the computer screens behind us over the last few weeks, and the product's absolutely amazing. If you're a member of the DCG gang, have a read through your email, because if you're a member of the Supporters Club, there's some great information about it. Not tested on animals, all totally vegan, all going to be sensitive to a male or female physiology, so it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, it's going to work for you. It's uber sensitive, it copes with everybody and any skin type. So guys, girls, make sure that you get yourself sitting comfortably. If you're getting a little bit older and a little bit more achy after a mountain biking weekend, like yours truly, then of course the soothing gel is amazing stuff. It's great for sore legs after the Donny Chaingang. It's good for sore backs after you come off and crash on the mountain bike at the weekend. And of course, if you want to put those miles in, then of course the shaving cream is the business. You may notice clean shaven as well. And that is courtesy of Veloskin products. Amazing stuff. Works on your legs too. So don't forget, grab hold of some. If you're going away, the travel pack is ideal. This is enough for 7 days. And courtesy of Chris and the team at Veloskin, we're going to give away 3 packs today, 3 travel packs today, and 3 travel packs on Thursday as well to members of the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, the DCG gang. So let's fire up the random generator. As you can see it just over there. And the immense generator, it's not quite this big in real life next to me, but it's pretty close, to be fair, is up and running. Each of the members of the DCG gang are in there, and all allocated a number from 1 upwards, 1 for Alistair, all the way through to our last rider, which is Vin Donahoe, in alphabetical order. All of them having a number. It's 1 rider, 1 prize as usual in the Chaingang, proper old school rules. So it means that 6 of the members will be grabbing hold of a travel pack from the guys at Veloskin. So let's get the number generator stopped first of all. Now, we, of course, can't see what it's doing, so it's going to stop on number 2. That's going to be really early. So that is Andrew Edwards. Andrew is going to be our first winner. So Ted getting the first of the wins. on the Chaingang, which means we're going to start this up. Now, if it comes up with number 2 again, the random generator will be playing truly random because it's the last thing we would want it to do, but also we'll just fire it straight over again. So remember those travel packs containing chamois cream and soothing gel. There to go out with you on holiday. Also going to be sending along a bottle as well, a bidon from the Veloskin team. Lots of great stuff on the site, so make sure you dive on there. We're going to stop the generator, and this time it's number 47. And that is going to be the one and only Miss Cookie. So Miss Cookie are winning the second of our Veloskin packs. So that is Sarah going to be our second winner, which means we'll fire this back up again. So 2 out of 3. First of all, Ted. Second, Miss Cookie. Let's see who's going to, for the third of those packs, who's going to win the third pack. Right, the real good spread here. That is going to be Steve Cannon. So Steve, sandwich between Stefano and Steve Wilson. Steve Cannon is going to be the third of our winners. So Steve Cannon, Miss Cookie, and Andrew Edwards, you are our 3 winners. Hopefully that is going to be really useful to you, which means that we are going to dive back out of there. And looks like the team, looks like Miss Cookie already in and watching the riders diving on down onto the start line. So let's, without further ado, head over to our beacon. Now, remember, we have Russ at the moment right in the middle of waiting. He's biting his fingernails for probably the best reason ever, because the little baby bear is due very shortly, let's just say, and that means that we're living on borrowed time, I think, at the moment before he is otherwise engaged. But hopefully he's going to be on the end of the line for us. Russ, I'm taking no news is good news at the moment.
I don't know about good news. Yeah, sat waiting around really, but yeah, all good. Due date's Saturday now, so yeah, anytime now. So you might have me Thursday, you may not, and then you may have me next week, you may not. So yeah, every day's a bonus.
Every day is a bonus, and we've got Veloskin looking after the riders on DCG gang, and are going to be keeping everybody in tip-top condition, and it's great products. I mean, I know you and I both lucky enough we've been able to test out some of the gear, and it is absolutely amazing. Looking after yourself is key to being able to go quick.
Yeah, I said the soothing gel is really good. Like I heard you say,
yeah.
It's good for damaged bodies, like you say, you crash yourself or whatever you do. And I was the same. I had it on the other week when I had a bad back. The tingling feeling is lovely, you know. And then I'm a big firm favourite of the moisturiser, you know, anti-aging cream, as Mr. IDL says. And yeah, if it's working, well, it feels nice.
I think I must need some more of that. I don't think it's. I've clearly been too sparse in my application of it. Either that, or I've got a much harder paper round than you. I'm not sure that's really the case, to be honest. And speaking of getting around, we are on Out and Back for this, and very appropriately named route, for a route that starts off in the desert, heads out and through the sites in the Vegas lookalike, then heading around and going out and over towards the hot stuff of the volcano. And of course, training camps are absolutely jam-packed, and volcanic islands seem to have a habit of playing a part in that, with places like Tenerife and Lanzarote, as well as, of course, things like the islands of Mallorca and so on.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. It's all we keep seeing lately is people away on the holidays, isn't it? You know, it's not nice, but you know, big shout out to Veloskin, you know, providing the travel packs and the goods ready for everyone to go away, and they are handy little packs. They just saying there on YouTube, you know, stick them in your travel bag, put them in your back pocket. You know, if you're out on a long ride, you need some of the products along the way. So yeah, they're doing the job correctly. Yeah, they're all good.
Definitely, and hopefully not too much needed for bad backs, but plenty for sore legs. And we do have a number of the ambassadors on for the first time, some of our regulars from the squad. So for anybody who's not ridden before, it's really simple, isn't it? There's a certain place you need to be until that go point. Where's that, Russ?
I know now, but it is literally, stay around the yellow beacon, we'll control the speed. You will get a workout at the end, and to be honest, you will probably get dropped. So everyone everyone has a great workout, but it's brilliant for I'm not giving it away, but probably like 40-45 minutes maybe tonight. Control with the ramp up to that point, and then it's who dares wins after that.
Indeed, once that go happens, the limit is off. So just to reiterate, we've got plenty of the riders on. Just seen Georgie Mahoney just saying hi to everybody. One of the Veloskin ambassadors from the Cycling Talk podcast. Miss Cookie, Ted and Steve Cannon winning the goodies from Veloskin. And Russ, I think we'd better let you dive down onto the start line and see your avatar is patiently waiting alongside our Red Beacon Carls.
Yeah, who we got red tonight? Carl Johnson.
Indeed, we have.
He's a good red beacon, and the improvement that he's done over the last year is amazing. So, chapeau, Carl, and have a good ride, buddy.
Yep, definitely he knows his stuff. That's for sure, and going to see him in action very shortly. Right, we'll let you dive off for us, and let's show everybody where we're heading.
Cheers, mate. I'm going to have to watch the TV.
So great to catch up with Russ. Let's show everybody where we're going and where we're heading. We are on the out and back course. We're heading out into Watopia. Our riders on that final countdown. As we said, our yellow beacon, Russ down in the bear himself, and Carl Johnson taking on the reins of the bus, taking control of the steering wheel and taking that red bus out into action. It will be there to sweep all of our riders up, and we are going to be watching those last riders as they head out and away from the start line. And we, of course, are going to be based here in the studio, making sure that everybody gets a great workout today. Remember, the riders heading out, they have a 2.4K lead in, so a 2.4K lead in to get to the point at which they will be released onto the course proper. One full lap of 39.8 kilometres, and this is a really interesting lap because we head out through the desert. We go up in towards the Sequoia Forest. We then drop down in through the tunnels, come up towards the Italian villas, head out and through in towards the volcano, a full climb of the volcano, climb going right up to the very top before dropping back down, coming back in over the Petite KOM, and then rolling down into the desert to finish at the Fuego Flats. This is a classic Donny Chaingang route, and it is very reminiscent of a lot of the routes that you might do on a training camp, and we'll show you why when we move from our Zwift Hacks map across to our amazing Velo Viewer profile. We've got a great warm-up along the bottom, and it's going to be rolling nice and smooth. We've got a little kicker just coming in at 8K. That is a little rise up in those forests before we then drop down, and really the action starts to hit home at 20 kilometers in as we go up in to the volcano. You can see that step climb of the volcano coming from 20 to 24 kilometers. We then get a 2K descent before we roll from there across towards the Petite KOM, the aqueduct, sorry, not Petite, an aqueduct, the mini KOM. It's the Swift KOM, basically. It's the smallest of the ones that we use on Watopia. That comes from 32 up to 34K. And then we drop down into the finish. So a great profile. Let's see how our riders get on. Let's head out onto the ride and see just where our riders are on training camp week. Courtesy of Veloskin here on the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne, on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. So we're just dropping in with Kieran Smith at the moment, the fast man just off the back here. Interesting to take a little bit of a look at Kieran's bike here. Just going to take a little bit of a zoom in with our drone in action here today. As Kieran on that lightweight bike. And looks like a little bit of work to do for Kieran to catch up. He's likely to be one of our fast riders when it comes to the finish, and somebody who we know can catch on to the back. Now, a quick reminder, the 100 rider limit means that there is likely to be the case that we don't find everybody from front to back. Kieran just chasing at the moment to get back into that group. The instructions come up in the centre of the screen from our yellow beacon. That is Russ Downing, and his instructions centre of that screen. Everybody else's conversations on the right-hand side. So just watching the ride on the side, so you just see the messages popping up and down, and Kieran at the moment just on the chase now. It looks like already a dropout for Alexander just by the side of the road there. Don't forget we have a late join of half an hour on the Donny Chaingang. So if you're just running in from work, take time, take a breath, make sure you fill your bottles with the OTE, make sure you get that chamois cream applied, and then it's time to jump on. Make sure you're up to that 2.5 watts per kilo marker as our riders start to come through. You see our yellow beacon just approaching the rock arch. Kieran Smith, our last rider on the road, one man who we don't need to worry about catching back on. He's got loads of pace and power. Just hopefully tire his legs out a little bit for later on. Just going to make his way in and through. This is the run into the finish in 1 full lap's time. Remember the number as we come through next time will be 42.2k on the clock approximately as the riders come in underneath that rock arch. Our yellow beacon Russ controlling the pace at the front. Kieran Smith, our rider at the back at the moment. And Kieran riding well here. You can just see the little figure just at the back. I think Carl Johnson. Carl, give it a kick now, mate. If you're watching live, you need to be getting up to speed. You could just see Kieran closing in on Carl. He's absolutely flying at the moment, and the two of them will be on the back of that bunch very, very quickly indeed. Remember, it pays to sit at the back. It's a 6-metre draft for the optimum draft to stay in that draft zone. If you've been watching the World Esports Championships, you'll know a number of the riders from the Donny Chaingang have been in the action with Charlotte Coldclough as well as Illy Gardner taking part in the World Championships, and great to see them, and some great graphics on the coverage there as well. So Kieran back in with the group, just going to take a little bit of a look. Looks like Stu Cheeseman just tucked almost into the back of the group. Looks like Mr. Langmead also just closing in on the back of that pack. Guys, get that gap down. Let's squeeze on in. I think we've seen a few of our regulars in here. The much quoted Simon Warren, quoted even internationally, I have heard, because of his statement that the Snake Pass now belongs to cyclists. Well, I don't think he was wrong at the weekend. Lots of great pictures coming out from there, and great to see how many people were on there. So the Snake Pass closed for a month at the moment, and you have access at the moment. The works, I think there's going to be nearly a month. They've got to basically wait until the ground stabilises and stops moving before they can even decide what they're going to do to fix it. So up until that point, get out there and go ride it. You aren't going to change how the road subsides. Not even the big sprinters like Dale Williams or Gareth Mason are going to be able to do that. Now, riders on the way in. Gustavus Cook is already thinking about pancakes. It is pancakes. We'll see what goes. So let's take a little bit of a see what answers. Don't start talking about pancakes. It is pancake night already now. Richard Langmead, Stu Cheeseman just pushing to get in to the back of the pack. Sam Emsley rolling around the back. It is also, of course, St. David's Day as well to the Welsh members of the Chaingang. Oh no, there's a number on here, including Gareth as well. So let's have a little bit of a check. How many pancakes can you eat? I'm not even going to go on this. Gareth passed out at 65. I'm not surprised at 65. Now, Carl Johnson. Let's have a look at Carl. Carl is one of our regular red beacons. A massive thank you to everybody who volunteers to do the Red Beacon job. It is the hardest workout in the gang. Just see Carl just sitting behind Tim Cooper there in the black with the green stripes and the green socks on, just making his way in front of Carl Johnson. Carl with that red beacon above his head at the minute. So our riders in that pack, the pack holding together and working well at the moment. So Tim Cooper on his first post-surgery Donny Chaingang. We did wonder how long it would be before he managed to scratch the itch and jump back on again. And it looks like he's going to be taking it fairly steady. Stu just getting that modulation right, trying to make sure he gets that pace right. And our best wish to everybody who's on recovery. We know a number of people on recovery from the dreaded plague, and a number of people on recovery from surgeries. Guys, just get yourselves sorted and get yourselves back on at your own pace. Don't forget, of course, that the beacon is there to give you a hand. Stu, keep the pace, keep the wheels. The draft is key on a course like this. So let's take a little bit of a look who's in the gang. Looks like Ian Brooks back with us. I think we've got Claire Jessup back in again as well. Sharp in here. A little bit of a check. Keith Hayward in. Georgia Mahoney now. Georgia, one of the riders who you can hear on the Cycling Talk podcast, and somebody who we've seen in action riding across many of the cyclocross events as well as many of the events out and around the country, including the World Master Support events. Good to see Georgia in action there. And Georgia from the Cycling Talk podcast, a mag speed rider as well by the sounds of it now. So good to have Georgia on, a Veloskin ambassador too, and great to have her with us. Looks like we've got Paula with us. This is Inka Linka on the bike for the Evo squad, and Inka Linka, aka Paula, going to be with us. Great to have her in with the gang. A very regular rider, been on plenty of rides on Zwift with Paul. Very fast rider and one who knows how to ride at a set pace on the way through. So keeping the pace critical, keeping it nice and smooth, absolutely key. We've got Bobby Mason in here as well. Looks like Steve Hilbert in the gang. Mr. Wilson in here. Rob Wimbledon, a regular for the Dragon squad in here in that orange and black kit. Good to see he's got on his regular kit on as well. Don't forget, of course, if you're a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, the way that we keep the show on the road, then please, guys, don't forget, make sure you get that membership renewed. We have got great giveaways all this month. This week is training camp week, courtesy of Veloskin, the people who will keep you in the best shape possible. They'll keep you sitting comfortably, they'll stop your legs from making quite as much, they'll keep you even more aerodynamic and smooth it all down afterwards. What more could you want? And it is vegan and, of course, not tested on animals. And even better, comes in travel packs, so you can take it away on your training camp. Currently out in the sun, out in the desert, making our way through some pretty barren landscape, a bit like the weight of Lanzarote for those who've been out on their training out there. Heading out and across the desert, so very reminiscent, in fact, of the UAE tour at the moment, as the riders start to head their way out and across the next stretch of the desert. Remember, this will change as we go up in towards the climb through the sequoias and head in towards the tunnels. Our yellow beacon, Russ keeping control of the pace, and great to see everybody holding in nice and snugly, and not too many people yo-yoing at the back. So it looks like we've got our finish line racing team representative. The finish line racing, aka Pro Noctis, Heidi Kiatson, powered by Rota. Squad riding on those red chili bikes in real life, and gone across one of the squad. All of that squad are supported by the team at Veloskin. Veloskin, one of the companies that we like to support for one of a number of reasons, but one of the key reasons is they put back into the sport If you buy from some big names, faceless internet giant, you just don't get this level of sport. They don't look after the riders, they don't look after the teams. Veloskin looking after the Lucol Wahoo squad, as well as the Pro Noctis finish line race team, and the finish line racing team, the squad run by Rick Lister, and of course got one of our regulars in that squad, the road captain on many occasions out on the course, doing an amazing job, and sponsored by Veloskin. The great believers in that ourselves at Full Speed Events. Next week, in fact, is going to be a 3 Chaingang week. So we have our WOW DCG. And next week, if you're in Sheffield, you can catch up with the women's Donny Chaingang Yellow Beacon. And that is Emma. She's doing a Q&A, was part of the Sheffield Women in Cycling Week. So, great week of activities, all supported by the University of Sheffield as well as Sheffield Hallam. And they are going to be in action with lots of different activities. We're going to be welcoming them to the Donny Chaingang on the Wednesday as well. In fact, Full Speed Events, who is the side from Emma and myself of the Donny Chaingang, our part of the Donny Chaingang, looking after that and supporting them, and really looking forward to having a chat with them as well. So going to be a really interesting support then. We're also supporting and sponsoring the Yorkshire Scarborough Festival of Cycling. We're going to be looking after the mountain bike eliminator. We're going to be there all weekend long and supporting that event. Has the youth nationals and junior nationals as well, the road events, the mountain bike, the hill climb, and the mountain bike eliminator. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how that plays out. And it's always been a key part, certainly of mine and as a personal philosophy of looking after people. And it's why Russ and I got this thing, the whole show on the road in the first place. So great to have people on the gang who believe in that as well and support the sport on the way through. Now, steadily working our way through. Speaking of people who look after people in the sport, Neil from the Crosscast is in here. Now, the Crosscast, of course, taking a pause for the summer. That's Gritty are looking after lots of riders out there. I know they're in action down at the Kennet Chase at the race there this weekend. They are going to be out and about regularly, and good to see Neil back on the Chaingang once again. And Neil, of course, I think was quite instrumental in helping Georgia and the guys at the Cycling Talk podcast, speaking of them. So Georgia Mahoney and gang as well. So great to have Neil in with us. So a little bit of a check. Looks like Mr. Locke is in here. Tim Cooper, of course, looking after the Chaingang, making sure all our set up and running. Just taking a little bit of a hunt through. We've got Ben from Veloskin on here, speaking of companies which look after people in the sport. Of course, the Veloskin are absolutely critical of the team at Veloskin looking after us. I've got to say a massive thank you to Ben for all of his input in terms of data, in terms of kit, in terms of making sure that we know exactly where we're going, where we're heading, and just what we've got in store for the riders. And Veloskin are an absolute essential. If you're serious about your riding, you want to know the best data, get the best information, do the best you can. Make sure you get a subscription in with Veloskin. I'm sure Simon Warren, the 100 Climbs fame, knows that well. Getting a march on another of our authors on here, Jimmy Allen, who's in with the gang at the moment, on his way along the straight. Good to see that we've got Jamie Harper from True North Adventures in here now. Definitely a quick rider when we get in towards the finish. Our riders just coming out of the desert, heading up in towards the climb, and now going up in towards this little rise, the first of the rise we showed you on that fellow viewer graphic, making the way up in towards the trees. They're going to take that left-hand turn and start dropping back down into the tunnels again. So just seeing Jimmy Allen, we just mentioned him, just tucked in at the back of the group here. And Jimmy, one of our regular Chaingang riders, definitely a rider who we know is going to be in action as the race goes on, as the ride goes on. Jimmy working well at the moment at the back of the pack here, and we can just see Jimmy nicely moving his way in and through at the moment. So Jimmy Allen, one of our favourites, because he is the man who's tasked with taking over from Russ, and he is our second yellow beacon on the rider. And when we are on the DCG, and of course known as the Wolf, because he is known to put in a sneaky attack now and then, to very, very unpredictable about when that goes, and one of the great leaders of the pack out there. So good to have Jimmy on here. And somebody who was supporting a year ago the very last part of the jog challenge with AD Dench. AD not watching tonight. Sorry, watching tonight but not riding tonight. He's going to be having a night off. He actually went up Snake Pass, which is what everybody's just been talking about today, and great pictures of AD up on Snake Pass today. So he's actually up Snake Pass, not watching, sorry, not riding, but he's definitely watching. So Jimmy just tucked in. Let's get the helicopter up in the sky, see if we can get a view of the pack. You just see it down the bottom of your screen as they come in and through. We've got 20 minutes on the clock, so if you want to jump back in again, then if you have got tech issues, jump out, jump back in. That is the easiest way to get back in. Now, just having a look here, Carl working well at the back of the group, a little bit stretched out. We're going to just try and manipulate the map a little bit here. So you can just see a gap opening between the yellow beacon and the front group as they come down. It's coming out from the trees. They're going to be dropping across to the T-junction to take that right-hand turn. So a little bit of a gap opening up at the front. The riders need to just be paying attention a little bit. Our red beacon just with Craig Genther at the moment, just squeezing on towards the back of the pack. Remember, the gang of all about holding together, working together as a group as they come off that dust road, and that yellow beacon Carl Johnson. So the red beacon Carl just squeezing onto the back of that pack. So the rider's about to dive down into the tunnels. This is the virtual part of the world of Watopia, where our riders start to descend below sea level. You can just see dropping down underneath the sea at the moment. And just behind, we're just going to see that drop down. There's a similar kick out of the other side, which definitely has a habit of breaking riders apart from the group if we're not careful. But the pack working together well. Great to see everybody tucked nicely in there at the moment. So you can see we've got Ian Brooks with us. Ian just tucked on the back of the gang here. Again, going for a lightweight bike. Real interesting mix of machinery out at the moment. Lightweight options like we're seeing at the moment with Ian Brooks here, the Specialized with the lightweight wheels. Going to be very quick. That's not the Mellenstein lightweight, it's even lighter than that. Just alongside aero frame, aero kit, aero wheels just been ridden by Matt Locke. It looks like Amy Gornall just on the far side. Deep rims on an aero frame, but still relatively lightweight bike in comparison to some. Interesting to see Martin Conley here in the high-vis yellow, the blue, the pink, with a lightweight setup but still relatively deep rims, go for a bit of a compromise. Plenty of Tron bikes as well, so the Swift Concept 1 bike in there. And you can just see, if we look at the mass of riders, a lot of Tron bikes. A great all-round setup for the ride today. This group working so well at the moment. Nobody really in trouble. Everybody riding together in that pack. And at the moment, our last rider, that is going to be Matt Lock, just at the back there. Got company with Mantis in there. Good to have Mantis back on board. Another of our members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. And that is the setup that keeps the whole show on the road, of the virtual road of Swift. And of course, keeps us able to broadcast out and keep everything ticking along in the studios as well. So the group on the way up the climb here, just going to drop in with our racer, looking pretty smooth at the moment as they come up over the top. And that's a group at the moment. Looks like, well, nobody taking a flyer at the moment. Everybody working well. I think Jimmy Allen just sat at the back here helping along our Red Beacon and Carl Johnson. So Sam Emsley just alongside as our riders go up and on to the boardwalk. We're heading in towards the Italian Villas next. And that is the section which has the long hairpin climb on the tarmac. So it looks like Brad in with us. Brad just about making it in on time. We're just going to keep an eye on Brad because it looks like got a bit of a dropout. Just watching to see Tom Hagen just making his way in. So Tom is in with us as well. So just jumping in with Tom Holmes at the moment. This group making its way past those wind turbines. Not taking the left-hand turn, going up the hillside and heading up towards the Epic KO, which you can see in the background behind. This group working its way over the bridges and in towards those Italian villas. The hairpin turn is going to come up just to the left of our riders at the moment. And the bridge directly in front of them, part of that climb. This little bit of dirt road section kicking up plenty of dust at the moment. So Amy Gornall of the Pro Noctis Handicaps has got just squeezing back in to the back of the pack. Amy had the pleasure of chatting with Amy on the stage at the National Time Trial Championships over in Lincoln, just on the side of the walls, and a great ride done by the Pro Noctis team there. And of course Lincoln is where we saw Joe Tinley crowned our National Career Champion as well. And looking forward to being back on the mic. They're going to be back in Lincoln for the Newell's Microgate Dash, Hill Dash, and we're also going to be there for the Lincoln Grand Prix, the men and the women's races out in Lincoln once again. Looking forward to that. That's I think the 8th of May, 7th for the hill climb Saturday night, and the 8th on the Sunday for the Lincoln Grand Prix itself. Really looking forward to that. In the meantime, you're going to be able to catch me out and about because it's going to be in Mallory this coming weekend. Also got some exciting projects in prospect as well. For those of you who haven't already heard, not going to be at the National Mountain Bike Series this year. After a few years back on there, going to be missing that this year. Just not compatible with doing everything else. So something had to give, and we've only been able to commit to 4 out of the 6. Apparently not needed for that event. The organisers apparently choosing to go, somebody's going to be there all the way through, quite understandably. So good luck to whoever is taking that on. And I'm sure they'll have a lot of fun. But going to have lots of opportunities to go and ride and catch up with people instead, which is even better than being on the mic. It means I can actually talk with people rather than just chatting away to myself on the microphone. Speaking of chatting on the microphone, I'm looking forward to putting a worse to action when we move on from the women's work, which is next week onto the Nonnas Milan San Remo week. It's going to be our middle week in March. This is, of course, looked after by the best Italian restaurant in the business as far as I'm concerned. And again, somebody who always looks after our cyclists from the Donny Chaingang. So Stefano and Maurizio, they're going to be keeping an eye on that. And don't forget, of course, this Saturday we've got Strada Bianchi coming up. So busy classics weeks coming up. We have Gritty looking after our last week. So Caroline, who is actually looking after some of the riders on the Sheffield Women's in Cycling Week, is from Gritty. Is also going to be looking after our riders on the DCG Gang in the last week, which is going to be Flanders Week on the DCG Gang as well. So our riders working well together at the moment. Just doing watching Amy, who's tucked in with the gang. A little bit quiet, just making sure fueled up on Grand Tour coffee. Grand Tour, of course, coffee. Great news coming from the bus from Ineos, because the man who's been a soigneur for British cycling for Team Sky, now Ineos Grenadiers, who's the head honcho of Grand Tour coffee, that is Ben Jenkins, now taking on the role of bus driver on the Ineos Grenadiers team. It's going to be very interesting to see how he does with that. I hope he can get the seat far enough back. It'll be very interesting. Now, our riders just heading down. They're going to be heading out towards the volcano very shortly. And the riders just dropping down in towards the Italian villas at the moment. So just with Alistair Cootie just rolling out and around. Just taking the drop down, going to go to the right hand turn. This is where we head in and through the villas here. Just watching Ian Brooks tucked on the back of Carl Johnson's wheel. And they're going to make the way through these turns. They go through the bends, and then they're going to head up in towards the S's, which is on the far side of the bridge, then head back across the glass bridge and head in. At the moment, just going through the tunnels directly in and heading out. Good to have Ted with us. Ted doing a short ride today, but a winner today of the travel pack from the team at Veloskin. So good to have you with us, and thanks for letting us know. Always good for people to just give us that info if they are going to drop it back off. So through underneath that sprint line, all our riders just nicely ticking in. They know there's more important things than sprinting for an intermediate sprint on the way through. And the gang are rolling nicely at the moment. So going to be making the way in and along. I'm loving Russ on the wind-up at the moment. Just going for the full-on wind-up to see if he can convince Ted to stay on just because he's won. We'll see if that's going to work. I somehow don't think it will. At the moment, just making our way up the climb at the far side. You can just see Ian just ticking along nicely at the moment. He's not far away from the one and only Bear Russ Downing on his way up the climb at the moment, just making his way at the back of the pit. Interestingly, he's gone for a disc wheel today. Let's find out quite why. Russ, you've gone for a disc on the back of the bike, we can see. Is that a deliberate manoeuvre to make it quicker on the flat?
It was on Thursday, yeah.
Not so sure it's going to be great news on the way up the volcano, but it'll work on the way down, I guess.
I guess I'll, probably didn't really have the time, I don't think, to change it, so I just logged on and went with it. I was more bothered about getting my body a little warmed up rather than changing the wheels.
Well, I have to say, I actually think it's quite a good move on this route. I've ridden it with and without a disc, and I actually think that the rest of the route is so much, the rest of the route, the disc is a benefit, that it's worth riding for the rest of the ride on that disc, over and above the fact that you've penalised really only on that volcano climb, which is a relatively short section, although it could be decisive today.
Yeah, well, I don't. I can't climb anyway, so I need every help I can get to keep up on the flat. So, I might come back using the disc wheel. That's my theory. I might come back on the descent.
Well, it's certainly possible.
It's like using the cars in the convoy. You can always use them.
Well, there's a lot of convoy to go at.
Nothing in the world is going to make me be able to climb well, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I've got to say, the gang is heading nicely across through the S's at the moment before getting ready to take that turn into towards the volcano. And the group are riding well today, particularly Mr. Chris Idell, who's in here. Chris, of course, riding for the Wahoo squad, for the Wahoo Lacole squad, and of course main man at Veloskin as well. We're interested to see how he gets on today.
Yeah, Chris had a rough time lately, I think, suffering with COVID and then coming back and everything, but hopefully he's on the mend. I think he'll do a ride tonight with it being his company sponsored week, so one for the TV and all that.
Well, he's currently at 130 beats per minute, 200 watts, ticking along 100 revs per minute, so spinning away nicely at the moment. He's got that cadence nice and high. We'll see if the pressure gets to him as we head out. Just heading out and over the glass bridge, heading out towards the volcano, and then on to the climb. We're going to let you go, Russ, because I think you're probably going to need your breath back before we hit this climb.
I don't know. I'm not bad. I'm at 90 beats per minute, so yeah, something's going all right. But I don't think it'll be that for long.
No, on that volcano climb. It's warm on the way through as well, and definitely going to be a case of hopefully everybody is got prepared and ready, because that climb, it's steps, isn't it? The volcano climb. So for those people who haven't ridden it before, which I can't imagine is too many, the steps steep, but there's a bit of a little rest in between each step if you play it right. But if you're on the back foot, then it doesn't seem to give enough rest on the way through.
No, not enough. You're out the back on the hill sort of thing. The downhills, you've got to go twice as hard. But I did sort of kind of like climbs like this in real life. You have that little bit of rest, and it breaks the rhythm up for the climbers. And you can kind of come back or get back onto the back of the peloton and then get spat again on the next steep bit. So it just keeps you drawn in a bit, and that's what the DCG does. The back's there and people chase it, and hopefully we can get a good bunch over the top of here, and then call some of those words that everyone likes to hear.
Well, we'll see, won't we? It's definitely going to be very entertaining to see how many people we can keep together going up. At the moment, the pack rolling together well. Good to see so many of the Veloskin ambassadors in here. George Mahoney, the Cycling Talk podcast. Paula Sinclair on a bite on here as well. We've got Amy Gornall of the Pro Noctis Heidi Kjartsen squad, who, of course, the whole squad is sponsored and looked after by Veloskin as well. And great to have them coming out and riding the Chaingang tonight.
Yeah, it's been a great few days on the social. Everyone's been getting behind the DCG. Veloskin are really looking after the members. So now the ambassadors looking after the DCG. So you know what we're about. We're about looking after each other. So thanks a lot, guys, gang, and everybody. And let's not go too hard up here, us. I might not ride on Thursday.
You're going to have other reasons soon, mate. Don't worry. Everyone will count for the moment. You'll be thankful of them, honest, Gov. Well, we're about to hit the start of the climb. We'll let you get off for us. Cheers, bud.
Cheers, guys.
So we're going to let Russ disappear into the ether briefly, because we are now heading up on to the climb proper. And we're going to start to see our riders starting to make their way up along this climb. It is a tough stepped climb here. Just seeing Reed at the moment, just off the back here in the blue. Going to have to push on because these steps do take their toll on the riders as they make their way in and through. We're just going to try and get our camera out and round the side of the riders so we get a good look at this bunch going up. So Regis at the moment, just off the back here, has got a squeeze on. Just seeing that red beacon, just holding station at the back, waiting to see what happens. Jimmy Allen at the back, this group all together. And this is all about keeping the pace right. We don't need any heroes trying to go off the front. All you'll do is poke the bear, and if that happens, then don't think you won't be held responsible by the rest of the gang because they are going to know about it. So just keeping an eye on Chris Gale, nicely on his way up here. Just tucked into that pack. He's going to have a little bit of a roll back through. So the gang are just tucked on the back here. Dobson and Run It just at the back. Simon, aka Sean, aka Simon, the man who strangely enough likes big climbs like the Von 2. Remember him doing an amazing ride on there before now, and doing some great rides on the hilly one. Somebody who really does dig deep and improving all the time. Just tucked on the back of that group. So going to be just hovering around the back. Remember, the red beacon is there to hold it all together in theory and to look after everybody. The bus, the red bus as it's known, universally on the Chaingang, going to be really in action, I think, later on. And now just keeping an eye on the back of this group now. Georgia Mahoney, one of our lighter riders. This is where those watts per kilo count, and Georgia just going past the side of Russ there. So the front will need to ease back each time it goes over a rise, just to let everybody back in. Russ just taking a little bit of a shout as George Mahoney, the Cycling Talk podcast, goes alongside Miss Cookie, one of our winners already on the Chaingang tonight, and the winner of the travel packs. Remember, 3 more of those fantastic travel packs from Veloskin are going to be coming out. And heading out to our riders who are members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang supporters, all the people who keep the show on the road and the wheels quite literally turning. So the back of this pack still holding nicely. This group is absolutely key on making sure that you stay in a group as you come over the top. If you are split from a group on your own, you're going to get a hard time on the way down. So that is a key part here. Don't let the gaps go. Stay in the group. Stay as a pack, and that will keep it rolling as you go over the kickers. Take the toll, it breaks, and then it'll come back together again. So remember, guys, just hold steady over the top. We haven't yet had that signal from Russ. Well, the moment we do, we will let you know. Don't worry. And just in case you miss it on the way through. If we miss it, let us know as well. So just getting a little bit strung out at the moment. We're just on these spins around the volcano. You just see this drop down here, 6-7% descent. Very quickly down, just seeing Stefano Barelli, the man who is behind the Nonnas week, which is going to be the Nonnas Milan San Remo week. Route specially chosen to mimic the course in Milan San Remo. And our riders at the moment tucked in the middle of the volcano. You can see another layer up, courtesy of our amazing drone, which has the ability to fly in and out of the tunnels. And in fact, we can make it go and drop another layer down if we really try hard. So just up and above that lava lake and the road, the layer down below. The bus starting to form at the back of the gang, and looks like Carl Johnson started to give the seats out, allocate seats on the bus, which is great to see. It's exactly what we want our beacon to do. Our riders at the moment tucked nicely in these tunnels and about to emerge out into the sunlight. The back of that pack, well, Tom Lindley just rolling around the back of that group at the moment. Somebody we will expect to see probably nearer the front a little bit later on, just taking a little bit of a check through. Nick McDermott in here. Stefano tucked into that group. Tim Cooper in here. Got Wilson tucked in nicely. Sam Emsley's in here. Martin in the group now, just dropping back to the beacon group. So this is where the squad have to work together. They're going well here, these 5. And the red beacon group here, this bus is not very far behind the yellow beacon. As we come up, we are not that far from one circumnavigation of the mountain to go. And this group have been going really, really well. Just seeing Miss Cookie now 3.5 watts per kilo, 3 watts per kilo coming out of Paul here. The Inca Linka on a bike. So this is going to be about keeping this group together. And I think Mahoney's trying to make a little bit of a bid to get across. It is a lot further than it seems. That is 11 seconds. The gap between them, that is going to make life really difficult. You're not going to get that 11 seconds, but this is where it's important. These 5, if they work together, will be able to get back on. If they don't work together, they won't get on, and they need to wait for the right moment. Use the pace off the downhill. If they go too hard now, they won't have anything left for when they can actually make it count now. The red beacon working really, really well. The call coming from Russ to the front to make sure that they ease that pressure off as they come up over the top of the pack, over the top of the group, because if they come up into this climb too hard, they will rip this group apart. So remember, those key words come from Jimmy Allen. Don't chase the front of the group. If you spy riders just rolling off the front, back off. You don't want to be on the front. Be a true pro. Don't hit the front until you actually really, really need to. Now, Paul Hudson, we do a pet funeral for you. His aunt has died. That's not good. That is the last thing you want to see as you make your way up here. So, Mr. Hudson, commiserations, quickly try and reboot it using Bluetooth. You may well be able to get them to rejoin on Bluetooth. Now, just keeping a check at the back of this group here. Just seeing Thorpe just holding off the brakes, rolling through, not going too mad in this pack. That yellow beacon group steadily making its way up here. I think I've just seen a certain Steve Cannon. We'll get him yet. One of our winners on the gang here. So Veloskin travel pack winner. Travel pack going out to Steve, one of our winners on the DCG gang, one of the members of the Donny Chaingang supporters club. And great to see him on here. Interesting, gone for real proper full-on Melonstone lightweights on that bike there. Just taking a little bit of a look down at them. Yep, full Melonstone lightweights. They are going to make life a little bit easier on the climb. You can just see it tucked right in the middle of the pack. And this is what we want to see, the riders across the road. It is all about holding that pace. We're still seeing bodies being ejected out the back of the bunch. It's going to take a little bit of run down. Reed really pushing to stay on this group. Looks like Harrison just putting a squeeze on here, trying to get in to the back of the pack. The front of the group has to just ease as they come up over the top. If they keep pushing, then we're going to see some real gaps. Over Terry Harrison at the moment, just chasing Harper. They're on the steepest section of the climb. This climb is cruel because the steepest section of the entire climb is the final kick up to the gantry. And this is where Terry really has to push. The riders behind, you're not going to make 30 seconds back. But I think Terry, Jamie Harper have got a chance to get in with that yellow beacon group. The front, remember, you need to ease off. So Jamie Harper just very quickly off the power. Just need to jump into that pack, mate, before it drops down that hill. This is where you've got to get on to that yellow. So the guys on the front need to be right off the pace. So you can just see Catlin at the moment. Harper, Harrison having to push. This is a descent. If you're not on the group on this descent, it's going to be really hard. And this is going to be tough stuff here. I think we're going to see the riders on the back of this pack just struggling to stay on with the group. It is absolute killer. As you drop down, not in the pack, you can see no gaps in this group, but Jimmy Allen is on the back of the bunch here, and if this gap goes behind, then they're going to be in trouble. You can just see behind Jimmy. Just to watch him rust at the back here. We've got a couple of riders. Looks like none are just in danger of being distanced. If he loses that slipstream, he will be a goner. He's got to push. You can see the numbers coming out here. Big numbers. He's putting 7 watts per kilo. He's got to get onto the back of that pack, but the gap is growing all the time. It's now 4 seconds to the back of the bunch. It is really key. Catlin, along with Harrison, I think now a distance from that group. You can just see that gap is opening. 15 seconds now. Further 12 seconds back to Jamie Harper. We're just watching the rest of the riders. So the front of that red beacon group just coming over the top and onto the descent, and I think Johnson and Cookie both on that descent as well. Now we've got Jessup, Inca Linker on the bike. We've got Mahoney, Johnson and Cookie. That would make a really good group of 5 if they can get themselves together. We've got a long way to get into the finish. We've still got the KOM to go over. This is all about pushing to get into that group together. Regroup, form a pack, because if you're on your own, it's going to be absolutely one of the harshest places to be out there. Looks like the Watson, after pushing the pace a little on the glam, has got distance on that descent. Nunn's being distanced as well. Martin is just about in that pack. This group are using strength in numbers to go down. If we take a look up from the sky, you can just see realistically this is the leading group. They're pretty much all together at the moment. Still a good sized group. Keyworth just needing to squeeze on. It's only -4%, we say only, but it is going to take its toll as these riders come down. That speed still 50 kilometers per hour, and once you get distance, you can just see Jimmy Allen living very dangerously at the back there with Hager at the moment. You want to be sat right in the middle here. You do not want to be pushed out of the back. You don't want to be just hovering. Keyworth here of Heinz CC is going to be in trouble if they're not careful. Might have an aero bike, but you're going to have to push some serious numbers. You can see Nunn has gone, you can see Raccoon has gone, Catlin's gone, Harrison, Jessup, Inkalika. Once those gaps go, you can see all of those gaps opening up as they come down. Keyworth now 2 seconds off the back of the bunch, having to push big numbers, but really going to have to fight to get on here now. Brooks just in the danger zone, hovering around the back here. So is Stevens. They know they can't afford to let that gap go. And at the moment, this is all about just trying to stay in with this group. So it looks like Matt Nunn not paying attention on the descents, now in trouble off the back of the group here. And potentially one of those riders who we would expect to be in here now. 30k covered, 51 minutes of running almost done. Just got him going, just nicely tucked in this group. Tracy C, the Terminator 2.0 in there as well. Looks like Mason just keeping out of the wind. Looks like Bishop in there. Simon Warren, as you'd expect on this climb. Yeah, they're absolutely flying on this descent. Russ, we're going to do 9 laps of this course, not if only. Mr. Dunn not going to know exactly how many laps he's doing on this golf because he's not paid attention and got dropped. Probably too busy working out how many there are. Right. So the gap has gone. We'll just drop back to Matt. Now, Matt is our official lap scorer on the Donny Chaingang. I was just feeling a bit redundant. Matt, I'll give you a big virtual hug down through over to your avatar because this is our man with the abacus, the official lap scorer of the DCG, the Donny Chaingang. It's going to be doing that a little bit further back, and you can just see how fast that pace is ripping the gang away from Matt. I've got Keyworth, who was at 4 seconds on the main bunch in that, and the go has gone. Russ has let it drop to the bottom of the hill, and now he's hit the plunger. He's hit the go. We've got miles to go as well. This is it's not like we're just round the corner. We've still got a long way of riding to go. You've got people really going to be in trouble very early on here if they're not careful. We're just riding in with Russ as Jones goes on the front, goes on the offensive at the moment. That's very dangerous stuff. Going to burn a lot of energy doing that. At full marks, we're trying to go from K0. So the pace is on that tight, packed blob. Well, it's got splattered everywhere at the moment, and you can just see Sharp and Co coming over the top there. Genther moves up on to the front. Dale Williams tucked in this group. Let's see who's going to be in trouble now, because the gap's going to open up behind this pack. Stevens just about squeezing in. Dr. D just about in. Amy Gordon just hanging in. Amy needs to squeeze it into that pack. She should be able to do it on this climb. Evans in there. Bishop in trouble now. So Rodney's in trouble. Baggs, Cootie in trouble. Malin in trouble. Davis is in here. They've got to push. If you don't get into that group, you're going to be in major trouble here, because you can just see Chris Ball tucked in here. Now is the time to find a group. So Stefano with Keith Hayward. Varty, I think, has been caught napping here. Not sure where Rob Varty was, because he has been caught in major trouble. I'm not sure whether he was taking a break, grabbing a bottle or some food, whether he was attacked on the feed zone, because Varty we would expect to be up with that lead group, and this is one of the men who normally is in at the finish. He's got a massive chase. You can see him working his way through. He's having to use this draft. Our riders take that right-hand turn. This is going to be kick after kick. This is going to be a big chase back. He's going to not just have burnt matches, he's going to have incinerated the entire matchbox as he makes his way through here. He goes past Andy Hawes. Like Andy Hawes, he's stood still, and Andy's a real quick rider. At the moment, you can just see Varty. He knows where he wants to be. You can see that yellow beacon. He thinks it's going to be in with that leading group. It is at the moment as you come up the side of the waterfall now. Varty continues to push on here, 7 miles per kilo, but this is burning energy. You can see that leading group. Now the gaps are getting bigger. He goes past Dexter Moore. Now he's got another 3 riders, gets a little bit of draft assistance, but now here comes the big gap, and this is the real big ask, because he's got a gap of 2 seconds to Richie Wood. It's 3 to the back of the main pack, and he's really got to push. He's one man against the bunch, and this is where the legs really start to burn. The lighting is eating in. Just in another big sprint kick here on the rise. He knows where to kick. You push on the rises. That is where it is key. Going to have Barker next in his sights. Little bit of a push. He's on again, 60 kilometers per hour as he goes in here. Super tuck in this descent just to get that micro rest on that downhill. Another big kick going to come from him, I'm sure, on this climb. Here we go. Little bit of a kicker as he comes up. He's got them in his sights. He's about 2 seconds off, but the bad news for Varty is he's going to get to the back of the group as it comes on to the KOM climb here. He's at 3 seconds. Come on, Rob. You've got to give it some bees now. He's at 2 seconds. You can just see, I think his legs are going pop here. He's at 3/4. He was in the red, and that gap now starts to open. Oh, Rob. It's all over for Rob Varty. He got caught napping, and now he's going to just be mopping up the riders who get spat from that leading group. Let's get up there quickly. Russ on the front now, keeping everybody honest on this climb at the moment. So it's Downing with the big numbers up in the red zone on the climb. He's starting to put them under pressure behind. And this is where we're going to see people spat. Isaac Oliver, look at this. He's coming across. Isaac Oliver, the youngster, the only one of our few 14-year-olds. Not the only one, there's a few of our youngsters in that age bracket right up on the front. Then it's Gilmore, Hepton, Downing, Mason, the fat cyclist, followed by Thorpe, Lindley, Saxton and Co. You're starting to see the feather flags going in. We're at 10% now. Matt Gilmore starts to come at pace. Gilmore's going to come up over the top. using that feather flag to chop 10% off his weight as he comes around that turn. It starts to ease, and you can see the damage that's been done. Lindley comes across. We said he would get across into that gap. Hepton sits in fourth wheel. As we see Thorpe now coming up over the top. Thorpe's run on very similar courses to this. He's going to be a big favourite. And look at this, going for the disc. It's the lightest disc setup of all. He's gone for that to give him that extra speed and pace. And he's pulling clear a small pack of riders, a select group here with Thorpe, Gilmore, Lindley, Smith, Williams and Hepton. They're 2 seconds clear of Oliver, Allen. Then it's going to be Mason, another second back. Then it's Coyle, Downing, Saxton, Ozuke jumping behind. But at the moment, Thorpe is pushing home his advantage. Now, the man that nobody will want to take to the line, it's this man. He's going to be Billy No Mates when it comes to that sprint. Dale Williams has got the power. He's got the speed. He can take this. Will he be taken all the way to the line? They've done it time and time again. And look who else has made it into this group. Mason in here. This is really interesting. Now, Mason has big sprint speed, loads of power. Look at the size. Hulk-like forearms and biceps here with Mason. He's got calves that have their own gravitational field. They're that big. And they're going to be taken, if they're not careful, all the way to the line. But Gilmore sees the danger here. Thorpe is continuing to push. He's at 5 seconds. If Gilmore can come across without being towed back, he could get in a real workable group. Once we come off the top of this climb, we drop down into the tunnels, back through the tunnels and quickly into Fuego Flats, into the sands and into that final sprint. Gilmore just trying to come across that gap. Lindley at the moment. Well, Lindley's putting the watts down, but are they shedding those sprinters behind? They've got Kieran Smith in there, who's got a fast turn of speed, but look at this. Quickly pushing up and through. Jimmy Allen is in here. Isaac Oliver in this group. Phil Ozuke tucked in and Craig Genther. So Russ picks up this group as well. So it could well be that Mason just paying the price a little bit here. We're just seeing Williams tucked onto the back of this group. The leaders are just up in front. They're going to go over the top together, but are they going to take the sprinters to the line? If I was Alan at the moment, I would be looking to push now to try and distance the sprinters. Remember, you've got Russ with you. He's got a fierce turn of speed as well. But it looks to me like Williams as well as Mason are going to have their day made. Let's see. Are they going to carry them all the way in to the line? Ozuke just trying to squeeze across to Thorpe. So our leaders on the descent. It is Craig Genther. It is Thorpe, Malcolm Thorpe, along with Matt Gilmore. They are the riders right on the front. Mark Thorpe right in the mix again. Will it be his day today? They've got to distance these sprinters. They come around this turn, drop again, and they've got to get that gap opened up. They need enough bodies as well to hold clear of the chasing pack behind. They need the firepower of Gilmore to get across to them. If they get Ozuke as well, that's 4 riders together, and this is a usable group then. They'll all want to work. Can they do it? Can they stay clear? They are absolutely motoring now. Group scattered all the way out and around the circuit, but it looks like that red beacon already well in and on to the big climb. The red beacon currently up that same steep KOM. So here we go, taking the right-hand turn, leading a group clear at the front. Can they stay clear? They have got open ground between them and the riders behind Hepton at the moment. Well, this is your second group on the road at the moment. So this is group number 2. All of the riders on the Donny Chaingang from the KOM, from the apex of that turn right the way through towards this descent down into towards the desert at the moment. Hepton in the mix here, but are they going to tow the sprinters in? Who's going to be doing all of the work there up at the front? These are your riders. They've got 6 seconds on the group behind. It doesn't look much. The camera foreshortens it, but Genther Ozuke, Gilmore and Thorpe will have to work together. If they hesitate, they will get caught faster than that bunch in the final spray on Kern Russell's Kern, because this is going to come down to who has the power. If they wait, they are going to get sucked in, and that gap is down to 2 seconds. The work being done by Hector and Lindley at the moment. They haven't managed to break clear. Jimmy Allen's tucked in, and the big man himself is in there. We have two super fast sprinters in this group. We've got the man in pink. It's Dale Williams. His nearest sprint challenger likely to be Kieran Smith, as Jimmy Allen now goes on the offensive, just goes off the front, and we're going to see another response here. So Jimmy Allen goes, Thorpe goes, and I think Gilmore has decided to sit and wait, not to drag the sprinters up. Ozuke goes off. He can't help himself. All he's going to do is bring the sprinters back to the lead riders here. He's not kicked clear of the group behind, and he's just going to aid them with that draft. This is where the problems come, where we get riders who want to be in that lead group, not content to let somebody else take the victory. They want to be in that mix, and Ozuke was strong on that climb. He's going off across again, and the rest of the group is set up. This is going to make 3 in that front group, and Ozuke could be in this mix here. He's in that SNR kit. Regular promoters, ride promoters on Zwift. So we've got Jimmy Allen, we've got Mark Thorpe and Phil Ozuke in here. This is a really strong group of 3 riders who haven't got that same sprint kick as the group behind, but they've got to stay clear. They cannot allow the group to come back. Now, Kieran Smith is one of the sprinters who has got the power to take them out. He's not on a full-on sprint bike. He's gone clear. Matt Gilmore's coming with him, and it looks like this could make it 5 in front if they can get there. So it's Kieran Smith in the black, Matt Gilmore in the yellow, trying to close in on the 3 leaders behind, though. Now Genther wants some of the action. Genther is going to come across this gap, and he's going to close it out here. And I think this whole bunch is going to just come back together once again. Here we go. 6 riders briefly at the front of affairs, but look who's having to do the work now. Williams is doing the work. Downing is sat on his wheel like a limpet at the moment. He's glued to that back wheel. He's not going to do a turn in front of Williams. Why would you drag a sprinter to the line? I don't know, but it looks like we're seeing it now. Over the top goes Downing. Big kick, nearly 12 watts per kilo. He's going to go clear. Time is running out for the riders. Remember, we are going to hit that finishing line very fast once we come around the twists and turns. Here on the Donny Chaingang, our riders, it's about 42.2 we should get there. So less than 2k to go if the calculations are correct. And Downing has got the gap. He's got 2 seconds. It could be Russ's last Chaingang for a little while if the little one decides to knock on the door early and say hello. I want my porridge. Well, at the moment, the bear's heading out. He's going to be the first to get his spoon in there. He's going to get extra honey at this rate because Downing has opened the gap. He's distanced them. And the only man who can go, Ozuke again. He's indefatigable, this man. Look at him go. He has gone across again, trying to close down the gap on Russ. And Russ kicks his way around this loop. The map at the top shows you that loop. We're on the circuit around the side. The gantry just on the left-hand side of the map. But at the moment, Ozuke is in no man's land. Now Coyle, who's been holding his powder dry, has put a squeeze on as well. He's opened up a little bit of a gap. There's going to be a response behind. Downing still leading this out. Ozuke closing in. Only a second behind. 4 seconds back to Coyle. Then look at the bunch. They're sat waiting. They're going to look at each other too long if they're not careful. We're going to come around this turn now. We're seeing Gilmore at 15 watts per kilo. He knows he can't leave it any later. He's put in the feather power. It's not going to make much difference on here. Russ is inside the kicker here. 500 metres to go for Gilmore. He's closing in on Ozuke. He's got big power in there. Gilmore's going to get him. He's got him. He's on his heels. Here he goes. Gilmore picks up Downing. He's going to go over the top, and young man Gilmore's going to do this again. Gilmore is becoming a prolific winner on the Donny Chaingang. He spoils Russ's party. Russ is going to be the bridesmaid, not the bride today. And it's Kieran Smith with third, Ozuke in fourth, Williams then Lindley, followed by Thorpe, Allen, Hepton's going to just come through ahead of Ginther and Coyle. Excuse me, wow, what a finish. What a speedy finish to the end of the Donny Chaingang today. Coyle's going to come across, just getting ripped out there. What a kick as they come through. I don't think there's going to be anything left in anybody's legs. Isaac Oliver's going to come through next, and it's going to be a sprint finish here between this group. Who's got the biggest kick here? I think Pearson's gone early here. He's going to try and lead this out. He goes over the top of Neil from the crosscast. He always puts in a good kick, but look at Lloyd go behind here. This is going to be Morgan Lloyd. Is he going to have him on the line? He goes over the top. It's close. He takes it out. Absolute flying finish. So it's Lloyd, Pearson, Conley, Neil from the crosscast, chopping Emsley, Dobson, Simon and Warren of 100 Climbs, and Snake Pass at Fame. Mason comes through. Then it's Rob Varty. Well, that's a great ride by Rob. He's going to be just ahead of the group behind. Phil Oliver's coming. Come on, Rob. You can see just how much damage that has done, because it is going to be Oliver who's going to get this. It's going to be all the way to the line there. Oliver, then Wilson, Gale, followed by Nathan from Velovat. Stedman comes through. Woodall's in there. Simon Runnett in that group. Henry Fuller in there. Ian Bale is going to be our next leader in towards the line. He is going to go for this. So Russ, with no arrows, no nothing, gets second place. Well, the only power-up that Matt Gilmore had was his legs. He used a feather early on. It was absolutely no use on the flat. Absolutely amazing on the way through there. And it is going to be another fast finish here. Just seeing Rowan Dubash, Dr. D trying to close down. So it's going to be Bale, followed by Martin. Then Dr. D, Rowan Dubash, followed by Neil Morn, who's Holmes Sharps come through. It's going to be our first female finisher in the shape of Tracy Seeley today. So looks like the Terminator is back on form once again. Chris Idell of Veloskin comes through. Another good ride by Chris on his way back to fitness. So good to see Chris come through. Tracy, of course, taking the fastest female finisher today on the Chaingang. Then it's going to be Ben from Veloview going through. Andy Horsford. Donahoe goes through. Stevens on his way through. Looks like Cooper making his way in towards the line. I think Russ going to be heading into the Wild Blue yonder, and Russ going to go, mate, you've got more important things to do than worry about the end of the chain. Go, mate, go. So now next sprint on the way here. This is going to be, I think, Chris Canham who's going to go up in front. It's going to be Canham who should be taking this. It looks like it. So it's Cannon, followed by Wallace, followed by some Rodney and Wafdale Phil. Then it's going to be Alexander. Tim Cooper comes through. Good ride by Tim on his way back from injury and surgery. This will be Reed. Cootie next in. The groups keep on coming on the Donny Chain. And this week's all about. It's about finding yourself people to ride with, then try and get that finish now. Looks like Davies on a big kick into the finish. Is he going to close down on Cootie? You can see him coming in the distance. Cootie's out there, sadly. He's going to just get this. It's going to be Cootie who goes through. Then it's going to be Davies, followed by Pritchard, just ahead of Jones. Gornell is going to be the second of our female riders in and through the line today, because she's going to take second. The pro Noctis rider coming and joining us. Thank you very much, Amy, for coming and joining the Donny Chain Gang today. Hope you've not done too much damage to your legs. They're going to be out and racing soon. Next in is going to be Keyworth, being followed by Steve Cannon. Cannon, of course, a winner on the Chain Gang giveaway for the DCG Gang members. Veloskin training camp a week, really setting our riders up now. Wilson, Ball, Stewart come through. Bobby Mason in and through the line. Next up will be Bishop, who is ahead of the official lap score of the Donny Chain Gang. That is going to be Matt Nunn. It's also a pretty fast rider too. Just didn't pay attention on it downhill. It shows you just how fast those gaps can open up. Now, our next riders are going to be on the way through. Looks like Hayward and Stefano. And then a gap to Georgia Mahoney and Claire Jessup. They've got the gap here on Cookie and Johnson at the moment. So it looks like Inkalinka has lost the chain link and gone, which means that riders, not many riders still to come to the line at the moment as we watch. I think next is going to be Steve Catlin coming through. So Fitzy finishing just in front of Steve Catlin on the Chaingang. So Steve going to be our next finisher. He's got a gap back 12 seconds to Hayward. So a clear run in to the finish for Steve Catlin here on the Donny Chaingang. Remember, this is just ride 1 of 2 on Veloskin training camp week. We've got a great route. We're going to be chasing the sun all the way through the Donny Chaingang on the run through the Mercury Islands on Thursday. One of the brand new routes that have just been launched on Zwift. Make sure that you grab yourselves a ride on the Chaingang on Thursday. Members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, already with those links. Don't forget, of course, a couple of weeks' time, we have Nonna's a week as well. It's going to be the Nonna's Milan San Remo week, and Stefano and the gang looking forward to that, I'm sure. We're looking forward to the ride on Saturday, the Strada Bianchi race hitting the Tuscan Hills, and going to be really interesting to see who takes that away this time around. Now, Claire Jessup in here in the yellow and black with Georgia Mahoney for company. Tron bike underneath Jessup at the moment. These two riders are working brilliantly together here. They're just trying to hold off the Beacon group behind them. Put a bit of a spurt on here to come in. They're inside the 500 metres to go. Who has got a kick for the line? Remember, that line will come at the Rock Arch. And it's that warm down to the blue banner. Will it be Jessup? Will it be Mahoney who's going to get this? Georgia Mahoney can talk the talk. We know she can walk the walk. We've seen her ride the ride in action. She's got Jessup there on that Tron bike, the experienced rider. You only get these bikes by riding 50,000 metres of ascent. Jessup goes, but look at the kick from Mahoney here. She's gone early. Mahoney puts in, we've just seen 10 watts per kilo come from Georgia Mahoney from the Cycling Talk podcast. The Veloskin ambassador is going to finish with a flourish as she comes into the line here. Georgia Mahoney goes over the line, followed by Claire Jessup. Great riding by the pair of them to come in to the finish here on the Donny Chaingang, live on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. Next up is going to be one of our regular contributors to the Donny Chaingang, somebody who I've had the pleasure of meeting and riding with in real life. It is the one and only Miss Cookie, who's going to come in with our amazing red beacon, winner, of course, of the travel packing time. I think got a training camp in Spain coming up, Miss Cookie. So I'm sure you're going to be enjoying those. And of course, Carl Johnson rounding our riders off. A massive thank you to Carl Wood, of our fantastic volunteers who take on that red beacon duty. So our riders now on that run down to the blue beacon, and some amazing riding by our riders. Thank you very much to Carl. Thanks to Russ, and thanks to everybody for joining us on this, the very first of our rides as part of Veloskin Week, the Veloskin Training Camp Week on the Donny Chaingang, live on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. Big thank you to Chris and all of the team at Veloskin. Their prize is going to the members of the DCG gang, the people who keep the show on the road. They literally mean that you can watch this and our riders can get out and ride on the Chaingang. So until Thursday, make sure you give those legs a rest. Maybe head up on to Snake Pass. Enjoy your pancakes if you've got them. We're going to be back on Thursday. From me, Matt Payne, from Russ, from the whole of the Donny Chaingang. Stay safe, have fun. We'll see you on Thursday for the next Veloskin Training Camp Week, Donny Chaingang.